What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 27 of our Liverpool FC Football Manager 2016 Let's Play. Hopefully you guys are good. Today, it's our end of season special. It's going to be a pretty big episode for us. There's a few games to tell you guys about, but really we're going to focus on the fixtures ahead. Obviously, last episode we took on Manchester United and Arsenal. We beat Arsenal 3-0. Since then, some pretty unconvincing results, really. We beat West Brom 2-1, Lacazette and Daniel Sturridge getting 2 goals for us. West Brom almost pulling back the game, really. James McLean getting 1 goal for them, but they couldn't get the second goal they needed. The next game, another 2-1 win, this time at home against our Merseyside rivals in Everton. We beat the Blues 2-1, Daniel Sturridge grabbing a brace in the second half to bring us back from a goal down after Kurt Zouma had been sent off. Actually, no, that's a lie. Kurt Zouma was sent off just after the 2 goals. But regardless, we held on following that red card for a win. And then in the last game of this run of results, again, a similar fate, really. We had a red card. This time, however, it did cost us. As you can see here, Sturridge and Ogbonna getting the goals for us. Ogbonna's, of course, been an own goal. We then had Witsel sent off in the 22nd minute, so actually before we'd got our 2 goals. And then from there, in the dying embers of the game, with the game looking kind of wrapped up at 2-0, we conceded 2 goals in the last 10 minutes to draw 2-2 and only get a point. So looking at the league table here, this is the situation. We've qualified for the Champions League next year for certain now. What that means is I have been given my budget for the coming season. We have £47 million to spend and £227,000 in the wages. So a lot of money coming our way for me to, I guess, splooge as I please. That sounds rude, doesn't it? But I can spend it where I want, is what I'm trying to get at. Splooge. Where did that word come from? Not a clue. Anyway, today we have got 2 games. We're going to be taking on Crystal Palace and Chelsea. Now, the games are about a week apart. I'm probably not going to cut in between because I like with these end of season ones just to do it in one sitting. And yeah, we're going to start, well, now I guess, against Crystal Palace. However, it's not actually us who are going to be playing immediately here. Arsenal have the early Saturday kickoff. So as a result, I thought I'd come just before our game. We'd watch and see how they get on in their game. Because looking at the league table here, we are 1 point behind them and our goal difference is worse. And so kind of going into this set of games, really we need Arsenal to slip up. And we need to win our remaining games against Palace and Chelsea. The Chelsea game for the last game of the season is certainly not going to be an easy one. But Arsenal have an earlier kickoff today. Looking at their remaining games, they have Swansea and Southampton left to play. Southampton in 13th, Swansea in 12th. And as you can see, they've got the midday kickoff today on Saturday. Our game is the evening game. The other team in title contention going into this last episode is Tottenham Hotspur, who unfortunately for them got knocked out of the Champions League. You can see in recent matches they've lost to West Ham and Chelsea. Their form's not been the best. However, they have got Sheffield Wednesday and Derby, 2 easier games to wrap up this season. So anyway, let's continue once and see how Arsenal get on. I'm hoping they're going to slip up. We need them to slip up. If they win, we go into the last day of the season knowing that we have to win and get lucky. And looking at it, Arsenal will win there. So that puts some pressure on us to win this second to last game of the season to guarantee ourselves a shot at the title for the last game of the season. Also, Spurs playing Sheffield Wednesday here, and Sheffield Wednesday winning. So that pretty much, in fact, that does put Tottenham out of title contention. This means if we win this game against Palace, we are the only team standing between Arsenal and the title. If we lose this late kickoff, the title is Arsenal's, and we will be battling against Chelsea on the last day of the season to try and get that top 2 finish, which would still be a fantastic achievement this season. So we'll see how we get on here. Witsel, of course, suspended, so we've got to make a change there. I'm going to bring on Andre Kubas to play as right centre mid. We've got plenty of options here in the team, which is particularly pleasing. A few injuries that you guys know of in the likes of Mignolet. Kurt Zouma, of course, suspended for getting sent off. He's only out for today's game, so he will be back for that last game of the season. And Joe Gomez, currently out injured. A player who last season showed a little bit of promise in the first team. This year, just not had the same opportunities with the new players we've brought in. And he's not really developed as I would have liked, unfortunately. Young Joe here may be a player we might move on in the summer. But anyway, I think this is the team I want to go with. So we're going to play with Bazor at centre-back. It's not his best position by any means. He is very much the box-to-box midfielder. I guess I could play Mamana. I could... do I want to play Mamana at centre-back? I kind of do. Last time Mamana played, he got injured. What's his condition like at the moment? He's got 100% condition, but 59% match sharpness. Oh, it would be a risk to play him, but I kind of want to. I'm actually going to bring Thiago Maia, I think, into the side today. Yeah, I'm going to play Mamana at centre-back. It's a risk bringing in the young Argentine, but I've got faith in his ability. He's a very good player for us. Sacco will play left centre-back for us because he's left-footed. I'm not sure what footedness Mamana is. I'm going to assume he's right. He is, so that kind of makes sense to play them that way around. But this is the team I think we're going to go with going into today's game. Got a pretty strong team at our disposal. In fact, I'm going to bring on Bizor for Cubas, I think, just because Bizor's a little bit better rounded kind of off than Cubas. But regardless, it's still a pretty strong team. Lacazette and Sturridge going to be leading the line. As I mentioned, we need a win today to go into the last day of the season with a shot at the title. If we lose this, it's going to be a case of winning hopefully our last game against against Chelsea to secure second place. To be honest, this season, just to finish top 3, I'm really happy with, particularly the manner in which we've done it. It's looked very, very comfortable for a lot of the season, and that's really pleasing to be able to say. Last season, of course, we finished 3rd, so it'd be nice this year if we could finish 2nd to kind of show at least a little bit of a sign of progression, although in reality, I don't think the league place last year really accurately reflected how we played as a team. I think we were quite fortunate to get a top 3 in the league, and so getting it again this year, in a lot more convincing fashion, it's worth noting, would be very, very pleasing, and I'd be pretty darn delighted with it. Of course, to get 2nd this year would be fantastic in terms of it would show that progress as a team, and if we could somehow win the league, which, to be honest, after that Arsenal result against Southampton is looking increasingly unlikely. If we did somehow do it, it would pretty much be a miracle, but it would be amazing. But we just have to focus on winning our 2 remaining games. We just have to go out here, play our natural game, hope we can get good results, and then we'll concentrate on how Arsenal do if kind of we can win our remaining 2 games. Because if we don't, then simply put, we are not going to be winning the title this season, which I didn't really think we had a shot at the start of the season, if I'm completely honest. I'm just delighted with how well a lot of our younger players have bedded into the first team, particularly in the midfield. Defensively, we've definitely shored ourselves up. Kurt Zuma's been a revelation at centre-back for us, and getting rid of... Oh, we've got a penalty, nice. But getting rid of Skrtel and Lovren. Skrtel's certainly in his late 30s, but also Lovren, who is not that great really at centre-back. That was a bit of a risk, but it was a needed change, and I'm pleased to say that change has paid off, because there's always a risk when you get rid of your experienced centre-back like Skrtel, and then you bring in someone like Kurt Zouma to try and fill that void that... the lack of experience is just a massive, massive problem. However, that's not been the case this year. And additionally, other sidings that we brought to the team higher up, players like Witsel, who perhaps hasn't had the biggest impacts on the games, but certainly Lacazette have just been revelations. Lacazette probably signing of the season in the league. And wow, that was a weird goal there that Crystal Palace just scored from a long throw, no less. And it goes in off the crossbar, and no sooner have we celebrated our goal, we're picking the ball out of the net because that throw has been launched in. Sacco heads it against the crossbar, hits the ground. It's not a bad move by them really, but pretty disappointing. Looking at the stats, we've been pretty dominant. What I was just saying about Lacazette was really, he's just been the signing that we wanted him to be. He's been everything I was hoping for when we paid £33 million for him, or £43 million for him. And that's just really pleasing to be able to say. But we need a goal here. We're on the attack, and that is a weird goal to go in. I think Scott Dan with the own goal. In fact, no, it's been given to McCarthy, the goalkeeper. Well, the ball gets whipped in here by Klein. And I think it deflects off the defender and then hits McCarthy and goes in. It was a very odd goal, but we go 2-1 up. That's all that really matters. I do not care about anything else at this time. That is a good goal, particularly to bounce back after having conceded almost immediately after we'd scored. We peg it back again. We get another chance, although now Wickham launching in another long throw. We've dealt with it this time though. Can we now counter? Big ball over to Sturridge, but cleared away, and now Sacco down the left-hand side for Palace. Going to be bringing the ball inside to Kabay, but Maya with a fantastic tackle. Now can we break? Sturridge with options on ahead. Lacazette is looking for the run. He's making a nice run, although Sturridge wants to go it alone. Hit it, my son. What a goal that is. Taking it from inside his own half, I think. Wow, that is a mad goal. That is a... I mean, I want to watch that back in 3D. I hope you don't mind, everyone. But I want to watch it back in 3D. So the ball gets cleared up to Sturridge here in a second after their initial chance. And Sturridge just picks up the ball and runs. He's done that a lot, and that's one thing I've noticed a lot more in FM16 this year, is the whole runs with ball, player preferred move, actually can kind of be a benefit here. You can see it here with Sturridge, picks it up at the halfway line. He's got options on ahead. Lacazette pulls across the defender really nicely, opens up a big area of space here, and defenders can't get across, and it's a really nice finish there by Sturridge. That was a great goal. I enjoyed watching that one. And at half-time, it's going to be 3-1, which is very good. I'm pleased with the team. We are all over Palace here. They've had 2 chances, both come from Wickham long throws into the box. We just need to deal with them just a tiny bit better. But with the exception of that, it's been a pretty faultless performance at the moment. We're on the attack straight from kickoff. Could we get a goal immediately after half-time? We can. It's another weird cross goal. I've not seen many of these this year. And Scott Dan this time, just not dealing with a cross. And Nathaniel Clyde, well, I guess he technically has 2 assists from these own goals. I don't know if it counted the first one, but this one, I mean, he's put it into a corridor of uncertainty there where the defender really has to do something with it because he doesn't know if Lacazette's going to be following in behind or if his keeper's going to get there. But ultimately, it's ended up in the back of the Palace net and 2 own goals for them. They are having an absolute mare. And looking at the stats, we are continuing to dominate. I guess we can make a few changes here. We have got that big game against, of course, Chelsea coming up. So in some ways, I just don't want to risk, some of our more important players in this game. Lacazette's not had the best game. We're going to bring him off. Bring on Gabriel Barbosa, who is still on his goal drought. It feels like I've been saying that pretty much for half of the season. He hasn't played that much football, to be fair to him, in order to break that goal drought. But we'll give him a chance here. He's got around half an hour, I guess, to try and do something here against a Palace side who we've been pretty kind of dominant over. Goal difference could still be a factor, I believe. Although I think for the goal difference to really significantly matter in the sorting of the league, we'd have to score like 6 or 7 in the last day of the season, really. We'll check all the nitty-gritty details going into the last game of the season. We're going to be hoping Arsenal slip up, but we have got to just, focus on our game. We're going to be taking on Chelsea. That's not going to be an easy game. Certainly a game that I'd rather not have as the last game of the season. But with a convincing win here, we are going to give ourselves a shout at the title going into that last game. As Barbosa has a chance. Can he score? No, he can't. That is a very much a kind of Gabriel Barbosa finish so far this season for us. Just failing to find the net. He actually scored a hat-trick, I think, last time he scored for us, but that was in the Capital One Cup quarter-final, I want to say, against Fulham, so that's back in November. Really been a tough season for him. He's a player who I might loan out this coming year, just depending on how things go, but he's a player who I want to stick with because he has potential. He isn't a bad player. He's just going for a really rough kind of spell as a player, and I'm trying to offer him some support and giving him the opportunities like in this game to break that duck, and he's just not taken them. But anyway, I'm going to tell the players I'm happy with that performance. With that, we see ourselves go 1 point behind Arsenal. We secure 2nd place in the league, which is pleasing. In reality, going into this last day, a win is going to be what we have to get. If we don't win, Arsenal win the league. If we win and Arsenal win, they will still win the league. If Arsenal fail to win and we win, even if they draw, we will finish above them. So it is going to be a big final day of the season. Albeit we're going to be kind of relying, I guess, on a few results to go our way. But we can only do what's asked of us. Sacco on form for us. He had a good game, actually. He's had a very good season, Sacco. I feel like himself and Kurt Zouma have really gelled well together as a duo. Obviously, 2 French players speak the same language. One's left-footed, one's right-footed. They both play in the national team semi-regularly. I know Sacco's been left out a little bit of late. But, they have that wavelength that they share, and that's pretty beneficial for us to have at our side. So there's a few games in hand being played here, but nothing too significant. The last games of the season for us in the Premier League are going to be on the next Sunday. So we've got about a week for the players to recover, which is pretty pleasing. It's going to be 2nd against 5th in our case, as you can see here. Chelsea beating Villa. I don't think Chelsea are going to have much to play for on this final day. In fact, they are. If they win, they can leapfrog Man City and get 4th place. Of course, Chelsea last season missed out on Champions League football. They will be desperate this year to not have the same fate, and it's up to us to kind of try and upset them and ruin their party just a little bit. So that's the challenge for us, although I was kind of hoping that Chelsea were going to have a last game of the season with not too much riding on it. There might be that complacency in their camp, but the fact that they've got something to really push on for is going to make this trip to Stamford Bridge just that little bit harder. But I'm optimistic that if we play our way, we can do that. I really should sort out my subscriptions. I think I'm still subscribed to all the leagues that I have loaded in my database. I have a few people ask about, what leagues I have loaded. Generally speaking, I'll have England, France, Spain, Italy, Germany, Brazil and Argentina loaded. There you go. If you've ever asked, I've said now. Unfortunately, I've said it at a point in a video where not many people are actually going to hear this and remember it because they need to know what leagues I have loaded. But Yeah, anyway, let's hold a team meeting. Last game of the season. I'm just going to tell them we've got an outside chance of winning the title on the final day, but don't let that impact your performance. Oh, that didn't... Worried about downplaying the occasion. Well, it seems like the dressing room is split. Oh, it's not ideal. It doesn't look like the hit was massive on morale, but... I mean, I've botched that up just a little bit. I just wanted the players to go into the game like it was any other game, but unfortunately, they want to treat this like it's a big occasion. I thought it would settle down the players just to say, play our natural game. If we get the win, fair enough. I don't think there's too much expectation we can put on our own shoulders here. I mean, at the end of the day, we are going to be relying on a very, very strong Arsenal team to slip up in order to even give us a shot at the title. But, as I mentioned during the last game, we can only really do... what's expected of us. Of course, I have got weekly auto saves on. Pro tip, guys, auto saves. Make sure you've got them on in your preferences, particularly with the beta. Sometimes saves do explode. I had my own experience with that back in Football Manager 2014. I've learnt from it, and now I have auto saves on at all times. But anyway, last game of the season for us here. It's going to be against Chelsea. We have a lot of unread messages for end of season for tournaments that I'm not even interested in. I need to sort my subscriptions out. That is something I need to do. Anyway, here is the situation. Arsenal play Swansea. We play Chelsea. I've already kind of explained the situation, but just to recap it, we need Arsenal not to win, and we have to win to have a shot at the title. We're guaranteed second place, which is a fantastic achievement this year. I don't expect us to win the league here, but I mean, anything can happen. This is football. This is Football Manager. Weirder things have happened, certainly in my time of playing this game, and I'm live comming this game as a result. It's not necessarily that I expect us to do well here, but there's always that hope, isn't there, that today is to be a day to remember for all the right reasons. Looking at our team, pretty happy with the squad at our disposal. We're going to go with, I think, Bazour, Maya and Henderson in the midfield, Coutinho, Lacazette, Sturridge, back five. It's just the standard team that it's been all year, really, with the exception of, I guess, Mignolet, who's unfortunately still out injured for us. But Chesney's done okay. He's certainly not been a standout player for us, and Mignolet is a miss, but he's a competent goalkeeper. He's very capable. And, we've just got to hope that we can do our thing here. Of course, Chelsea in 5th place. They want Champions League football. We beat them last time out 3-2. That's worth remembering. It was that epic last-minute goal by Lacazette in kind of beyond added time. I think it was like 93 minutes and 15 seconds when we had 3 minutes of added time. It was an incredible finish. I'd rather not have something like that today, but if that's what it takes to win the title, then I will take it. I'm just going to get the latest scores here, so the Arsenal result is always showing. Of course, just a reminder, we need Arsenal to lose and we have to win. Although we need to defend this set piece in the first 5 minutes. Ball whipped in, Oscar Chesney with the save. Good save, my son. A draw as well would be enough, but this Arsenal team is not the kind of team to draw to Swansea. They've been very, very impressive this year. Of course, just last episode, though, we did beat them 3-0, so they're certainly not unbeatable. And that's something that we've very much got to consider going forward here. I'm going to move these panels out of the way of the pitch, like so. So we sit on 83 points. This game is fairly 50-50 at the moment. No one really dominating the game. We've had a few more shots, and we've had slightly more possession, but we have a chance here. Lacazette, can he whip in the ball? He can. Coutinho saved away by Courtois. I've just remembered the situation that's at hand here, and I'm now suddenly that little bit nervous. I don't want to get expectant on us winning the title here if we win this game, but at the moment Arsenal haven't broken the deadlock against Swansea and we're 37 minutes in. There's a chance, but right now we're not winning this game. We are dominating it. Looking at the stats, we're looking very good. Shelby's just scored for Swansea. It just popped up in the top right. A draw wouldn't be good enough. We have to win, but we suddenly have a chance. And I don't want to get my hopes up because Arsenal are the kind of team who can turn it around, but we need to win now. If we don't win, even if Arsenal fail to win, or even if Arsenal win and we fail to win this, I'll be disappointed. Still 1-0 in that game. The stats are fairly 50-50 in this one. Chelsea kind of getting into it. What do I want to change? Who is not performing? It's tricky, isn't it? It's tricky. I don't feel like these views are changing anything for me. I want a view where we can see the ratings, which we've got here. Myers had a pretty poor game, so I'm going to bring in Joe Allen to go in defensive mid. Coutinho's not had the best game, but he's the kind of player who can just turn a game around. I think that's the only change I'm going to make at the moment, 60 minutes in. It's still 1-0 to Swansea. If we fail to win this, I'm gonna cry. That would be horrific. At the moment, we're going to lose out on the title on goal difference. This game, not a lot happening here. Morata's just equalised for Arsenal. But with 10 minutes left, a goal would see us go top of the table. How do I want to change things? Rating-wise, who's not performing? Lacazette and Sturridge both not performing, but they're the kind of players who just can, suddenly start doing it. I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to bring on over striker. I'm going to bring on Benteke here. He's going to go as a target man attack. I want him to be a big man who we can pump the ball up to here. We've got to get more attacking. We've got to get a little bit more adventurous. So this is what we are going to do to try and achieve that. We are going to switch to a pretty attacking tactic. But, I mean, we've got to do it at this point. We've got to go for it. We need a goal. We need one. I want us to close down much more. Play at a higher tempo. We'll go with that. I don't want to change too much, but Benteke is going to come on for Coutinho, who's had a disappointing game here. We need a goal. 10 minutes left. Arsenal still drawing as well. But time is slipping away in this game, and this is a game that we need to win. We need to win. And Aspilicueta are going to try and launch in a throw. Can we clear it now? Can we counter? Hazard. Zuma boots it up, but only as far as Mario Fernandes, the Brazilian right-back. Sigurdsson. I mean, if Chelsea score, it's all over. Arsenal have just scored, so even a win now might not be enough. But we can only do what's needed from us. Benteke, Henderson. Oh, he's had a mare. That was a chance to score. Fortunately, I say fortunately, it's unfortunately really. That probably isn't going to make a difference because Chelsea are going to hold us here and Arsenal have won 2-1. Full time here, we draw 0-0. In the end, it wouldn't have been enough. Arsenal did end up winning 2-1. But just for a second on this last day of the season, I thought we might have a chance. Unfortunately, we miss out on the title by 3 points, which is disappointing to get so close. Particularly given the fact that it looked like at one point it was winnable. But it wasn't to be today. We'll look back on some of the results this season and kind of curse our luck. The likes of the draw on the first day of the season against Sheffield Wednesday. That's the kind of thing that's going to live long in the memory as a game that kind of what if, I guess. You look at some of these results. There were too many draws. Too many draws against bad teams like Watford, Southampton. They are the kind of games that if we were to win, and Brentford here, Villa, some of these draws, geez, we drew against teams we shouldn't draw against, even West Ham to some extent. That's what's cost us the title here. We beat Arsenal kind of over the 2 matches we played against them. We drew the first game, I think it was 1-1. We won the second game, of course, last episode 3-0. And it's a little bit disappointing, I guess, to lose the league in that manner. Just a quick look at the player stats here. You can see Lacazette ended up finishing second top goal scorer. Sturridge with 20 league goals will finish second top goal scorer. Really impressive attacking performances by those guys across the season. Coutinho with 13 assists is right up there. Lacazette and Nathaniel Klein also got 12 assists each. We were great going forward this year, but we lacked just a spark, I guess, a second option, a plan B in some of the big games. You can see Mignolet with an okay defensive record here, only conceding 33. Sacco with a lot of key tackles for us. 28 was that for him? 30, even more. It's unfortunate this season, but we performed better than I expected. If we look at our team here, and look at the general thing. Media prediction was 5th. So to finish 2nd and go all the way to the last day of the season, I mean, that's nothing to be scoffed at. I'm pretty proud of the players for that. Obviously, difficult to lose to our rivals in Arsenal. But it's a good season. Good progress again. We've got a very young squad with some very young, talented players, so I'm looking forward to getting back the likes of Vlasic, who's had a very successful spell on loan at Marseille. Played in the Champions League for them. He's been developing well. We've had Yuri Tillemans on loan at Augsburg. He's been playing regular first-team football. He's developed fairly decently. Obviously, there's been a few other players playing the first team. You've got Mbolo, who's ready for first-team football, I think, in the Premier League next year. He could be the plan B for us. And yeah, we've got a team that just stacked with talent, and over the next few years it's going to be really exciting to see these players develop and just hopefully see us win some silverware. I mean, the fact that we've come 3 points off Arsenal with a very young squad like we have, I mean, it speaks volumes for how good and talented some of these young players are, and they're only going to get better over the next few years. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up this video from me. I'm going to try and remember to do an end-of-season review. I'm not going to screw up how I did last time where I forgot that I didn't have auto-saves on for the end-of-season review. So there will be episode kind of 28, will it be? Or will it be 29? I've lost count of episodes at this point. It's been so many. Disappointing way to end Season 2, but hopefully you guys have enjoyed regardless. If you did, of course, smash the like button. And yeah, other than that, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.